Welcome back, Lake listeners. Thank you for coming and tuning in for more of Season 4 on the Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. Today, I'm so excited because I got two of my really cool friends here from the Krantz and Associates team. I got Megan King and Kayla Conoyer, and they are both incredible agents, and we are going to talk about a topic that kind of applies to everybody, so I'm super excited about it. So Megan and Kayla, thanks so much for being here. What's going on today?
Not a whole lot. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited.
I'm so excited. So I wanted to start the show with you both just sharing a little bit more about yourselves, your business, and kind of where you found the passion to do what you do. And let's start with you, Megan.
So I've been in real estate 8 years, going on 9. I actually kind of started in the back way. I was an assistant first and learned all the hard things. And then I got into the fun side of it. And I'm a nursing major, so my heart's always been to help people. And I know that's why God put me on this earth. So real estate allows me to do that as well.
That's really cool. I didn't know that you had a nursing background.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely love it. So.
What about you?
Yeah, I kind of started the same way. My career was a CPA, and then I got hired on as the accountant / closing coordinator for Krantz and Associates. And then I kind of loved it, and Jeff and Mel kind of pushed me to be an agent, and started to be an agent almost about 2 years ago now, and absolutely love it. And I feel the same way. I love to help people, and that's kind of the reason why I was an agent. I loved it. So.
Now, Megan's been an agent for 9 years. I wasn't here when, you came on to ReMax, but I did get to see you kind of transition in your roles. And now looking back, I remember you being nervous, to take that
really
jump.
nervous.
But how do you feel now?
I am so thankful that I did get to take that jump. With being an agent, you make your own income. With being a closing coordinator, you're kind of stuck. I mean, not really stuck, but you can only go up to so much. Yeah. But with making that jump, I can make my own life and, make my own income and make the life that I wanted for my kids. So.
Yeah. Well, and you're a mom too, Megan, so I'm sure that it was a big part for you too.
Yes, it was, especially with nursing. And just in schedules and things like that too. So I was in medical sales before this, and my hours were insane. I had no life. So the flexibility of being a real estate agent is 100% the reason why I'm an agent. So same thing with income. There is no ceiling. The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So.
Did you get nervous too when you made the leap into real estate?
Yes and no. Not really, because I made that decision pretty quickly to jump in, and I'm if I'm doing this, we're doing this. There's no half what about it. So I went all in, and when Jeff recruited me from being an assistant, same thing. I was like, okay, I'm going from a salary to I'm going to be commissioned only, and I didn't have kids yet. So I ate, slept, and breathed at that office.
Oh, wow.
And it's changed a lot, obviously, since I've had kids. I still do real estate 24/7, but I went all in and still am.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, I'm really excited to talk about today's topic with the both of you. I knew instantly that I wanted to have you guys in on this because we've talked about it several times, but the topic's around surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Right.
It's said that you are a product of at least 5 people that you have surrounding you or that you hang around. What are your initial thoughts on this?
I completely agree. I know I went through a spurt where I had a lot of negative people around me, and this was actually recently. And I started to know that it was taking a toll on me because I wasn't coming into the office as much. I wasn't as happy, and I just kind of shut myself down.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got rid of those people out of my life, my whole energy just completely changed. I was more focused on my business. I've been doing a lot more showings. So it really does take a whole entire effect on your mental and physical life as well. So I do completely agree with that.
Yeah. What about you, Megan?
Yep. And like I said, Mel and I laughed about this whenever I knew this was the topic we were going to discuss, because this is what I practice and preach all day long. Pretty sure every one of my clients has said to me, I need a shirt that says I'm just not for everybody. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I'm a lot. And that's okay.
I'm a lot too. I get it.
I'm exactly who I surround myself with. And when Jeff and Mel recruited me, that first meeting with them, their energy that they gave me, I was like, this is what I want every day. And I still feel that way. Same thing. We go in the office and it's like, you're around successful people, you're going to succeed. There's no way to fail.
They always say, if you want to be a millionaire, surround yourself with millionaires kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it totally works.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in every aspect of life. Being a mom, same thing. You got to surround yourself with the people that you want to influence to your children, your husband, your marriage, your relationship. Every relationship in the world that you can think of in your entire life, you should surround yourself with people that you want to be around. Life is too short to surround yourself around bad people.
Well, and we were talking about this earlier, Megan, about how when you get older, you find yourself kind of getting into this pattern where you're like, okay, I don't want to be on the same track. Right. I don't want to be keeping the same company, and it is kind of a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
It really is. It really is. Especially like Kayla, what you did. It's so hard to be like, okay, identify what that issue is and like identify how I'm going to get rid of this or not surround myself with those type of people. Because, another topic we're going to talk about soon, same thing. It's like, what do you do in everyday life when you might have to be around someone that's not like-minded like you? So, and that's just a maturity level thing too. So,
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's keep diving deeper with it. Why do you guys think that surrounding yourself with like-minded people is important?
I think that it just takes a toll on you if you don't, because you're constantly having to battle with, if your beliefs aren't the same or if your positivity is not the same, you're constantly having to battle, and that will actually put a toll on you worse than having the people that are surrounded that have the same beliefs, that have the same positive energy, than, constantly battling that. And to have those people to back you up and constantly keep pushing you forward and keep going towards your dreams and keep giving you that positivity that energy. You need. Yeah. That just kind of helps thrive anybody. Yeah. Instead of having that constant pull of where you're being dragged down or something like that. I believe that's a huge thing to keep your positive energy up. So,
and I do too. I agree with Kayla completely. And ReMax, League of the Ozarks in general, is huge for that. And this is not me trying to recruit people, but come on over. But I'm just saying, same thing. I've been in an office that is very negative and very, nose to the wall and no conversation.
Me too.
And it's like the second we walk into our office, Mel and Jeff, even if they've had a rough night or they've had a bad morning, they brush it off and they come in and they're happy as can be. And they look at all of us like, how are you guys doing? How are the kids? And that's so important because I'm a mom of 2 kids too, and so is Kayla. So like getting out the door in the morning is stressful, and getting those kids across town into school is stressful. Yep. So when I get back into the office, it's like, okay, I'm regrounded. I'm around these positive people that support me no matter how I look, how I feel, how I'm acting.
Yep.
Right.
And you bounce back out of it. It's that way no matter where you go.
I've told Jeff and Mel several times that I feel like everybody should stop into the Krantz office in the morning when everybody's just kind of powwowing. Yes. Yeah. Like the last time I was there and I witnessed it, me and Jeff and Phoebe, we were talking about and Carrie, we were talking about that documentary on Netflix, the Social Dilemma, because that was like really big, and we like got on that high horse for like an hour and a half, but I walked away going, man, I'm pumped up for the day,
Absolutely.
And that's how it is with every single face that's at ReMax, no matter what team or no matter what office we go into, or a primary or over to the main or, into your office to see you. It's like everyone, that's who you are. Everyone we surround ourselves with, even in an entire company, not even just 5 people.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just huge. It's so important. And that's one thing I have already started to teach my children, especially Canner going into kindergarten and he's a boy. It's very important who you surround yourself around with, buddy.
Oh, I'm doing that with my stepdaughter, Riley, too. I mean, she's 14, so she's at that pivotal point.
Yeah.
And, when you're at that age, I think it's so funny because, she's at school and she's just like, oh my gosh, I have all these friends and like, and that's like her life right now is that social. And I'm over here like, baby girl, that's not really going to matter after high school.
Right. It's all going to go out the window.
All right, back on track. So give me a personal story about surrounding yourself with like-minded people and how it made a difference with you in your career.
So mine kind of stems from being the closing coordinator and being a part of Krantz and Associates Team. We had all that positivity in our team, and like I said, Jeff and Mel really kind of pushed me. Not really pushed me, but they gave me the idea of going into being an agent, and it really, sparked the idea of going into being an agent, and having the team and the support from Jeff and Mel and everybody on our team was a huge thing of helping me and stemming my career. I jumped in when COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
I was also pregnant with my last kid, so I was not in the best position. And, of course, my hormones of being pregnant were going to have a lot of that negativity coming in, and having the whole entire team behind me the whole time was a huge thing for me to keep going.
You can do this.
Yeah.
And, don't let the doubt get to you.
It just really, really helped me, because I don't think I would have made it that first year without that. Mm-hmm. And, your first year is going to be one of the hardest years, especially. And here we are.
You did great.
I'm here in my
awesome.
second, almost my third year. So it was
I've been proud
huge.
to watch you. I know that you've been,
our team as well.
I think Jeff and I were talking about you the other day, just about how you've been, so silent, but like still reaching all of your goals, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm typically the quiet one.
So cool. What about you, Megan?
So same thing. When that very first dinner with Mike, my husband, and Jeff and Mel, and I had to think about, did I want to make the jump from being with an independent company going over to ReMax? And it took, 5 minutes. And my gut and heart were like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And so, and just hearing Jeff and Mel's story and their business stories and their growth and their success, and not that who I worked for did not have incredible success, because she still does till this day and is an incredible agent person. But that was so important. I wanted a team environment. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be around like-minded people, like Kayla said, that support me and just, help me with everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, still, till this day, I call anyone in our office at any given moment, and I ask the silliest questions that an agent of 8, almost 9 years should probably know, and I don't know, or a situation I've never been in, because it happens every single day, or even just family, like something's happening with my kid, like I need help with this type of thing. So being around those like-minded people I 100% accredit to my success. Mm-hmm. I truly do. I think within an instant, if you are, like Kayla was saying, if you are around someone that's negative, and you're in an office setting and you're in a team setting, it affects you completely, and you don't want that, right? And so that like-minded person isn't going to be like that, right? Because that's not who I am,
right? Well, and what I love about what you just said too is being around like-minded people. It brings its own contagiousness to it. I mean, because not only are you trying to keep negativity and that positivity and momentum churning, but it also works with, okay, I have this goal, like, being in real estate, you get the financial freedom to change your financial position. Absolutely. So you can be open and honest with those like-minded people and be like, okay, I want to do this. I have this goal. How do I get here? And those like-minded people are going to be like, okay, let's do this, this, and this.
Yep. Right. Yeah. And that's what we do in our team. I mean, we all are, it's friendly competition. I mean, it's like, okay, we always have another agent that we're striving for and we want to be like, and we want to get to that goal. Same thing. We always have another team that we're like, okay, we've got to get above them, because that's our goal. We have to reach for something. And it makes it so fun. And it is so contagious. Absolutely. Just like yesterday when Wayne was presenting and you were like, preach. Yeah. That's how I feel about Jeff when he gets on his soapbox. Yep. We're all in meeting and we're like, preach, man. Like, preach. And then he has to apologize because he gets so passionate.
Yeah, he does.
But that means that he's doing what he was meant to do in life. If you can do something like we're doing and be as passionate as we all are about our careers, that means you're doing the right thing.
Well, that's what I love about it, too. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've left a meeting, like, with Jeff and just been like, between me and him, walking away. And I'm just like, God, you must be on like such a rush right now. Like, how do you walk away? Like, I'm pumped up. Are you pumped up? You know?
He's always pumped up.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, it's just awesome. And I'm like, it is awesome. But I love that positivity, that momentum. It's so cool.
It is so contagious.
So some people say that being around like-minded individuals is the leading cause to success. We've talked about this just a little bit. But what would be some other benefits of surrounding yourself with like-minded people? Like I said, you kind of get to your goals a little bit faster. Maybe it's accountability, but I know there's a lot more that feeds into this topic.
So I'm able to see how other like-minded people like myself handle really tough situations.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It might be, for example, I'll listen to another agent if I'm allowed to. I'm not listening to something I shouldn't type of thing. But on a phone conversation, a really hard transaction or just a really hard, difficult situation, and we're completely like-minded people, but at the same time, they might handle it from a different approach than I have.
Right.
So I feel like that teaches me so much. And same thing in regular life situations as a mom, as a wife, any of those things, being involved in Cantor School, things like that. There are a lot of people that are like me. But they handle situations completely different and in a good way. And I'm like, wow. So I think in tough situations, even though you're like-minded, you still can learn and see how those people are really a little bit different than you and how they handle those tough situations.
Well, and you can constantly apply, those
Correct.
different things.
Correct.
I love
Absolutely.
that. That
Yes.
was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like Megan said earlier, the competitive side of things too. We're all very competitive, but we're all very positive, competitive people.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being negative competitive
Yeah.
and positive competitive. We all
Yeah.
feed off of each other and we all give that positive energy. But, if something is going wrong, we don't take it with a negative approach.
Yeah.
We try to make the best out of it and say,
Right.
this happens all the time. We can get you through this.
Yeah, we're learning
Yeah,
together.
absolutely. This is not the first time this has came up, so we can definitely help you out with this. And maybe it is the first time that Megan and I have had that situation,
Right.
but with being a part of a team that has 25 plus years, we have a lot of great agents that will help us at any point of time that also have the same mindset at us.
Yeah.
That we
And keep
can
you from making mistakes
absolutely,
too. Yeah.
absolutely.
Like
And
if you
they'll
could
help
fast
us.
track stuff, by
Yes.
doing that
Yeah.
helps
Yes.
so much.
Absolutely. So we do go to them, and we also get that positive energy, but we also figure out how they handle it, like Megan said. So it's a huge thing.
One of my favorite things about surrounding yourself with like-minded people that not a lot of people talk about is that you finally get to a point where you can be yourself too. That's something that I didn't really take into account when I was, kind of restructuring my life, like we were talking about earlier. But having that power to also be going towards your goals, being motivated, and then also being able to be yourself. I think that one
Being true
is
to yourself.
one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
I agree completely with that because, like I said, sometimes you're not for everybody,
Right.
and my core values might be a little bit different. And so, but at the same time, if you're surrounding yourself with those like-minded people, they want you to be exactly who you are and be true
Right.
to yourself. And that's most important to them because that's most important to themselves.
Right.
You have to love yourself before you can ever love anybody else.
Love that. Yeah, because you
Absolutely.
can't pour from an empty cup,
can't.
too.
You
That's how I
can't.
always say
I'm a
that.
mom. I cannot pour from an empty
You
cup.
cannot do it.
Sometimes
Nothing
you can't
comes
even
out.
pour from a full cup.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I completely agree with that 100%.
It's hilarious. You can't even pull from it.
Hey, some days we can't.
Nope.
Okay, so according to some scientific research, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. These are kind of some tougher ones. But when meeting someone for the first time, we as humans naturally look for similarities and differences. It's just normal. Mainly because similarities provide us with comfort and differences kind of seem threatening at times. So typically we place ourselves in bubbles because the differences of others that we're picking up. So how do you two kind of overcome initial differences that you're feeling and kind of prevent yourself from placing yourself into a bubble and kind of keeping that like-minded, circle flowing?
So I feel like, not to be too cheesy or corny here, but I feel like God definitely put me on this earth to help people, no matter what aspect it is of my life.
Yeah.
So if God wanted me to be the light in the room and to help other people, all those people aren't going to be like me.
Right.
Right.
But I have to respect that because like we just preached about, if they are being true to who they are, then they might need me for help in other aspects of their life that they have no idea that they even need me for.
Right.
And so when I first meet someone, the first thing that my heart says is, how can I help them?
Yep.
And when I find that there's a way that I can't help them, I get really down. It really bothers me. And my husband's like, honey, you can't help every single person in your life.
Agreed.
Okay? But do what you can.
Right.
And so I feel like exactly what you're asking. It's like whenever you find yourself in tough situations and you meet someone for the first time and you're like, you know what, Kayla might do something different the way that I am, but we're also similar because we love certain things that are the exact same thing.
Absolutely.
But I respect that person for their differences because we can't all be the same or this world would be super boring.
Yeah,
Right.
it would be so boring.
So God created all of us different for a reason.
Absolutely.
And we're all here for the same reason, but all to serve in a different way completely. And that's what we're here to do.
It's super cool when you break it down like
So
that.
Yeah.
it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all going to have our differences one way or another,
Yeah.
whether we're like-minded or not. So if you can step back and say, I respect you for your opinion and I respect you for those differences.
Yep.
We are alike on these different terms and we'll move forward on that.
Yeah.
If you're not in a good relationship, you just have to kind of bring yourself back and be like, I still respect you.
Yeah.
But for myself and my mental and physical well-being,
Yeah.
I just can't continue to go through this.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
you know, if you need me later on, that's great. I'm
Yeah.
going to be here. I'm going to be there for anybody.
Yeah.
Because that's just how,
Yes.
that's how we
Yeah.
are. We
Yes.
help anybody and
Yeah.
everybody, you know, because that's our giving nature.
Correct.
But you just have to realize that, you know, everybody is going to have those differences, like Megan
Correct.
said. So,
Yep.
Well, I
You just
think
have
that's
to-
like such a level of maturity too, when
It
you
is.
can, you know, take a step back and not have that like reactive approach.
Correct.
Like
Right.
I'm very much like you, Megan, where it's just like I meet somebody and I'm automatically like,
Yep.
how can I help your life be
Yep.
better?
Yeah.
You know, I don't,
Yes.
whatever that might be.
Yes.
But it is hard too when you're not met with that same enthusiasm
Correct.
and you're
Right.
just like, okay, now I have to wonder like why I can't help you, and it
Yes.
bothers you. You
Yes.
carry it.
absolutely.
Correct.
It's crazy. Okay, let's flip flop. Has there ever been a person/group in your life that you wouldn't have considered like-minded or needed some separation from? What steps did you take?
I kind of touched on that earlier. There was a situation recently, and I won't go into all the details just because.
Right.
But a couple of us did not just see eye to eye on things. And, you know, it really did put a strain on my positivity, on everything. Like I said, I wasn't coming into the office. I wasn't even pursuing real estate, basically.
Right.
And you just kind of have to say, okay, here's the reasoning. I have to remove myself from this. And it's nothing against that person or that group.
Yep.
But because of my mental and physical state,
Yep.
I can no longer do this. And I appreciate it. We can be acquaintances or, you know,
Yes.
friends down the road, or if you, you know, if
Yeah.
you do so change.
Yeah.
But at this point, I just can't do it for my mental health, and
Yeah.
just let them know it's nothing against you.
Yep.
But you know, it's gonna happen. You're not gonna run
Yeah.
to not everybody you're gonna get along with.
Yep.
in anything.
My friend and I were talking about that this morning. She was kind of struggling with some of that too, and it
Yeah.
was just like her mentality on it was, you know, I just have to love myself. I haven't loved
Absolutely.
myself. I have to, you know, you have to put yourself
to take care of
first.
yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because again, can't pour from an empty
No.
cup.
Nope.
And if you're surrounded by people that aren't like-minded, or you feel that disconnect already happening,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, to me it's better to cut ties, you know,
Yes. I
until
agree.
you can find a better
Yes.
way, or however that
Yes.
works out.
You have to be very mature too to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because like Kayla said, I mean, it's really hard.
It
It's
is.
very, very hard. So it's really funny because that I wrote down is my mother,
Oh, really?
who I absolutely love to death, and she is my best friend in the whole entire world. She's an incredible person. She's a workhorse, which everyone knows that's how I get it, and that's why it's in my blood.
Yep.
Right.
But at the same time, me becoming a parent, you know, I've parent different than she has. And my mom was a fantastic parent, and so was my father. So don't want to sound wrong on that way. But it's just a different world today
Yeah,
than when
it
I grew
is,
up.
yeah.
And this
Yeah.
generation's way different.
It is.
Absolutely.
And so same thing about there's, I mean, every single day there are things that we'll be on the phone about that I'm just like, you know, Mom, I don't really know that I agree with you. But at the same time, you will not respect your mother more until you have your own child. Mm-hmm. And
Correct.
so now
true.
I have to remember, like, I'm seeing the world through my eyes, and she's seeing the world through her eyes. You know, just
Right.
like your kids, they're going to be different. But at the same time, it's like I have to remember the respect that I have for her, and obviously wouldn't be here without her. And I feel like it's that way with everybody.
It is.
You
Right.
know? So I just think that there's always going to be that person. There's always going to be that situation. And, you know, for example, like what Kayla was saying, when you surround yourself with like-minded people, we all know when something's going wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
We
for
can
sure.
sense it,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
And so that's when people sync, they sync. And they're synced up for a reason. You know?
Agreed.
And don't mean for my crazy, crunchy self to come out by saying that, but that's how your brain and your body and your energy, that's how it works.
Yep.
That's true.
I think that's so funny too that you brought up your mom, because I can't tell you how many times that, you know, when like
Yep.
you become a
Yes.
parent
Yeah.
and it all makes sense, and then you go to
Yes.
your mom and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm so sorry for
Even the
everything I
business
did.
aspect. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of risky things I've done, you know, in a business and with my business now. And my mom's even like second guessing me, and I have to remember, you know, you weren't a real estate agent. This is a completely different
Yeah.
world.
Right.
It's a completely different thing than a corporate world that she lived in. But she's still so proud of me and has so much respect, you know, and I think that's, like Kayla said, that is what's most important.
Yeah.
And it takes a mature person to put those differences aside.
Right.
And still have that love, respect, and appreciation,
Yep.
you know, for that person.
Yeah, and like Megan said, if you are down, when I was going through that situation, a lot of people were like, "Are you okay? Something going on?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're
Yes.
okay?"
You know.
I
yeah.
mean, even though, like, I am so, I don't hate to say this, but I'm so good at hiding, like, my feelings. And even when it gets to that point, if you are good at hiding your feelings, it still comes out one
Yep.
way or another.
Right,
Yep.
right.
You know, and everybody in the office was like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "Oh, crud." You know?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
All right, last question. What would be some good advice to our listeners that you would have for surrounding yourself with like-minded people?
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, I can jump in pretty fast and wrap my little segment up because
Yeah.
I truly preach this to every single person I've met. You are who you surround yourself with. And we were talking about this before we started recording. The older I have gotten, which I'm not that old, I'm still young, I'm still cool. But it's just like life is short, okay?
Agreed.
Anything could happen in any given moment. And who I choose to surround myself with will affect myself and the rest of everyone around me. My children, my husband, my entire world is affected by who I choose to surround myself with on a daily basis, every minute of my life. Okay, so even if I'm driving down the road and a bad song comes on the radio, that person and that song is affecting my person, like my mood that I have that day.
Absolutely.
And all of the things. So it's like, as crazy as that sounds, your brain is constantly, you know, you have to wire it the way that you want to have, you know, your personality that day, your energy, all of it. Everyone feeds off of that. The room that you're in, all of that, all the time. So I just think that it is so, so important that people be the brave person and be the mature person, even though as hard as it might be, you know, to realize, hey, if it's a job that you're in that you absolutely hate and you're miserable, and I'm not saying go out and quit your jobs because we all have bills that we have to pay, but I'm just saying, even outside of work, maybe think about, hey, if I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling negative, why?
Right.
You know, and identify that and make the change and make
Do
the
some
step.
self-reflection.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to. You have to. You have to take care of yourself. That is my number one thing to everyone. I preach it to everyone else. I'm getting better about taking care of myself, but you have to take care of yourself first.
Well, and you can't feel guilty about it. That
You
was
can't.
where I
Yeah.
struggled.
Correct.
Was it's like, okay, I know what I need to do,
Yep.
but then I feel guilty about
Yep.
it, and you cannot feel guilty.
Yeah, and I would say figure out the things that make you who you are. Like for me, in the mornings, what I do is before the kids are up, I get up, I obviously do my little routine, but I listen to Brian Buffini.
Oh yeah.
And that puts me in my positive mindset the whole entire day. I feel ready to go. I feel ready to take on anything and everything that comes my way. And I don't listen to a lot of stuff in the car. I listen to Brian Buffini
Yep.
or books of like Think and Grow Rich or,
Yep.
you know,
That's a
things
good
like
one.
that. So figure out what helps you and what helps you surround yourself with those people as well. Everybody's going to obviously be different. Not everybody's going to love Brian Buffini. Not everyone's going to love to read.
But like my thing is like the Mindset Mentor like podcast. Like I love Rob Dial's stuff. So like I get it. You find what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep going with those things. And when I did go into that negative aspect of my life, I realized that I wasn't reading. I wasn't doing the Brian Buffini, and I was surrounding myself with all of this negative energy that it really did take a toll. And I had to step back. I had to remove myself from that situation and get back into the things that I love to do.
Yeah, get back into that positive routine.
Right, yeah. So just find out what works for you and continue to do those things, and you will surround yourself with those like-minded people.
I love it. I love it. Well, Megan and Kayla, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
I loved talking about this with you, and I knew that you guys would bring tremendous value. So, again, very much appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast listeners, thank you for tuning in for another great episode. Remember to like and follow on all of our platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of them. We're pretty well everywhere. Also on 89.3 FM in Osage Beach. And if you want to connect with Kayla or Megan, how can they do that, guys?
People can reach me at my cell phone anytime, 660-734-1103, even if it's not about real estate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can email me, Facebook me, but you can also text or call me at 314-856-3483 as well.
That's awesome. Well, keep checking us out for more content coming your way. We're excited to keep this season rolling, and we appreciate you guys watching. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire. And we'll catch you next time.